Master Sgt. David Hernandez, and I'm both a Minnesotan and a Floridian. I needed a drastic change. I didn't graduate from high school. As mentioned before, I'm Minnesotan and Floridian. I moved from Minnesota to Florida when I was 15, and we took a placement exam, to determine at the high school to determine what classes I needed to take. In doing so, the school identified that I was actually ahead of my peers. So they put me in 11th grade. Unfortunately for me at my time, I let my ego get the best of me. And I thought, well, if I'm this smart, I don't need school, and I'm just gonna go to work and I would help my mom and my dad and make some money. It started honestly on 9/11. I was working at a boat company at the time. One of my coworkers, he would listen to the radio during the breaks. And as I was walking back to the hull of my boat that I was working on, he mentioned that we were under attack. And I took the radio from him, the headphones, and I started working and listening to what was happening. That was the initial spark in wanting to serve my country. Then I thought to myself, wait a second, man, what are you doing with your life? You're building tents for a living. You don't have a full-on career. You got a dead-end job. You're not doing anything. You quit high school early. You got yourself into trouble. You became lazy. You became arrogant. You became complacent in life. You job hopped. And I was going nowhere and I was getting there fast. Well, I need to make a change in my life. That's when I really started to reflect there at work. You wanted to serve back in the day, and you couldn't. When I was initially told that I wasn't qualified for service, I took the necessary measures to make myself qualified. I was going to Bible college. I got my GED. I got my associate's degree in Christian education. I was kind of fixing myself, but then I dropped and got myself into some more trouble, in the streets and stuff. And now fast forward another few more years, I have the necessary qualifications to enlist. Now, while any of the branches of service would have helped me, I felt in my heart that I needed to be a United States Marine. When you think of the United States Marine Corps, you think of discipline. You think of, good order and discipline is what you think of when you think of the United States Marine Corps. And I needed that. I was missing a big part of my life, and that was the service part. So for me, the answer is simple. It's the pride of serving others, the pride of serving my country and my community, and the rest is history. My first supply chief, he asked me if I was gonna make it a career, and I said, yeah. So he gave me a bit of advice. He said, every 3 years, move. It'll make your career faster. It'll make it more memorable. You'll have more experiences. You'll have more growth. Every 3 years. So I said, okay. And I did just that. I've been stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. From there, I deployed to Camp Fallujah, Iraq for a year. I was part of the Regimental Combat Team 6, and I oversaw all supply matters for the entire province out there. I was stationed next I went to Minnesota, to the I&I Military Police Company, Twin Cities, Minnesota. From there, I assisted the reserves. I trained, I mentored the reserves in Uganda and in Morocco. I went to the 31st MU, Combat Logistics Battalion 31. I was there for 3 years in Okinawa, Japan, and we deployed all over the place on ship. We went to Guam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Thailand. They did Korea, Australia. It was 3 years of on and off the ship life over there. At that time, we supported Operation Damayan with the Philippines. After that, I went recruiting for 3 years. I went back to Twin Cities, Minnesota, and I recruited for 3 years there. And the lives that you change there is, you can't even, it's inexplicable. That's tough. That's been the toughest time of my life, to be honest, from a career standpoint. But the rewards are great. One of the Marines that I enlisted, who no one wanted to really give a chance, he's now a drill instructor. You give somebody a chance and they're gonna make it happen. From there, I went to Camp Pendleton. I went to Supply Battalion, and at that point, I was deployed to the border. So I did border operations for 9 months. And then I went to 1st Medical Battalion in Camp Pendleton, and I supported a medical battalion and dental battalion. After that, I went back to Okinawa. I went to COB4. I was the supply chief there. I was a SACO there. And I assisted a bunch of Marines who were having substance abuse issues. I changed quite a few lives in that manner. And now I'm here in Albany. And I'm here as a company first sergeant. It's funny because I picked M to be a master sergeant. I didn't want to be company first sergeant, but yet here I am as a company first sergeant. Everywhere I've been has a special place in my heart for different reasons. You know, the bonds from the deployments, from recruiting, the ship life, you know, training the reservists, you know, hanging out with the Ugandans, you know, playing the military games with them, you know, the different African nations, everything. Everything has been very special, very unique. I can't really say which one's my favorite one. I can't really say which one's my most memorable one. It's just been one hell of a journey. It's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster, but it has been amazing. It's been tough, but amazing at the same time.